And I believe we are live. Hello everybody, welcome back to the Overwatch Oasis League. We are currently right in the middle of week 11 for tier 3 right here, and we've got a great matchup today, Valhalla versus Tantalizers. Both of these teams kind of towards the bottom of the standings, hoping to get themselves a win here to further bolster this hopefully late season playoff run that both of these teams look to start. Tantalizers obviously still looking for their first victory, did look very strong against C9 last week. Valhalla, they got the map 5 victory over Taterpot, so they're hoping to continue that momentum here. I'm of course joined by Toaster, my color commentator for tonight.
Hello everybody, and like Kirby said, here in week 11 I believe of tier 3, both teams here trying to, well, on the side of Tantalizers, make a playoff push, and Valhalla trying to pad themselves from the bottom here of tier 3 to keep themselves firmly in that 8th spot or maybe climb here. And with both, with tier 3 being so close there at the bottom, it's really anybody's push for playoffs right now.
Yeah, I'd say that everyone still has a decent chance at making the playoffs. It'd be a lot for Tantalizers specifically to make it, but you know, if they are able to get the victory today, they could start a nice win streak, you know, go 5-6, 4-7, and that actually could get you the 8th seed.
Yeah, and I mean, Tantalizers made that strong push last season at the very end, so I mean, they've known to do that, so we can see if they make the same push here this season towards the end of the season.
So here we go. Story with Valhalla is their new addition, Prophetic One. He was electrifying in their previous game against Taterpots. He's going to come out here on the Genji. They're also running the Ryan Zarya. Both teams actually going to go with the Ryan Zarya. We are going to see a new player on the side of Tantalizers as well. Sovdanum going to play that Zarya. So here we go. Valhalla.
Yeah, for me, both teams. Go ahead, sorry.
Valhalla, they get to the point first, but Zannyboy finds the opening pick there. Both of these teams fighting. Wukron does get stunned and is getting very low, but the peel is there. Team fight still relatively up for grabs, especially if Wukron decides to put himself out of position like that. He gets taken down, so now it's a 5v5 with Ravioli staying on the way back. There he is, already peppering in rockets. Tantalizers do take the first cap. We'll have to see how Valhalla want to initiate this next fight. Ooh, there's Danny goes flying through the air, but Ravioli Stain finds Zannyboy, Parsnip Pixie, and Techno Bunny both have their coalescences ready. Techno Bunny pops theirs. Parsnip Pixie looks like they're going to hold on to it, as this is more than likely a losing fight, and Valhalla, they will capture the point themselves.
Yeah, weird to me here that neither team is selecting to go with double shield here on the control map. Sigma being in such a good spot, I feel like could really complement these teams, especially on the side of Tantalizers, where they're really running more of a stationary comp. Could really help get them here and solidified on this point.
Zannyboy swapping to the McCree to try and take out Ravioli Stain, but Ravioli Stain is having none of that. Both of the DPS for Valhalla able to get the first pickoffs, and they have a lot of ults to work with here in this next team fight.
Yeah, I think it's really the silent killer here. AtCat on Brig is doing a very good job of enabling both Genji and Danny here on the Reinhardt to really brutalize anything that touches point. It's going to be very tough here for the side of Tantalizers to push in with this imminent rally. I mean, you're going to have to kill that Brig before anything falls, and she's almost unkillable here when her rally's popping.
Ravioli Stain finds the opening pick again. Tantalizers, they just can't make it through these tight chokes. Zannyboy also in trouble. Both of the DPS on the side rotation, whereas the tanks and healers, they're trying to kind of go straight to point. And Tantalizers, they're going to have to back up once again.
Yeah, only positive about that is like, do you bait the rally out of AtCat right there? So it'll be easier for him to push in with no defensive or ult for a support, but still have to push into this barrage, blade, shatter, and almost grab.
Ravioli Stain initiating with the barrage, and there it is, a double kill. Sov also committing the Graviton Surge, not going to find anything. Parsnip Pixie using that Coalescence as well. A lot of ults being used on both sides, and it looks like at the end of the day, we will see Valhalla winning another team fight as we approach one team fight territory. Now it looks like all characters are going to come out for Tantalizers. Oh, and Whisk Queen gets stunned out of using his tire. That could have turned the team fight around. Wukron has the shatter, but Danny also has one of theirs. Here we go. Nice dive from Sovdanum, but gets taken out right away. And it looks like this is all too good for Valhalla, and they will take the first round here on Nepal.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that is on the back. Ravioli Stain's Farah really went fairly uncontested. She did a good job really just kind of zoning out the back line, keeping them away from their Reinhardt. And then Atcat still on that Brig, really kind of dominant there in the front line, really allowed Danny to make as much space as they wanted, as all that extra backup there that Brig lends really was just too much for Wukron and Saab to try to push into.
So now here we go. Let's see what these teams want to go with this time. Now we're going to see the double shield coming out from Tantalizers. That being said, Valhalla going to run that classic Mei sim strat that you see a lot here on Village. Oh, no, Prophetic One actually going to swap to the McCree, but Mei is still incredibly strong on this particular objective.
Yeah, interesting to see Wise Queen drop the Junkrat here on probably the best Junkrat map on Nepal, and electing for that Hanzo.
And we'll have to see. So Tantalizers, they're going to take the high rotation, and Whisk Queen does find the opening pickoff onto Techno Bunny. And now we see Tantalizers, they're going to go aggressive on it. No one else is down so far. Good wall from Ravioli Stain, but Prophetic One and Rybuds are very close to being down. Atcat is now down. Prophetic One going to try and turn this around, takes out Whisk Queen, but I think at the end of the day, the Tantalizers will take the first cap here on Village.
Yeah, and that's all it takes is that one pick. Whisk Queen catching Bunny kind of out of position there, not playing smart behind the shield. Just took an arrow to the head, and really with the majority of your healing down right there, it's just an easy push in with that double shield. They just didn't have the sustain to brawl on the point on the side of Valhalla.
You almost wonder if the sim would have actually been perfect there, because Tantalizers, they took that high patient rotation. They could have easily have gotten the sim set up there.
Yeah, they could have, but I mean, I still think the Hanzo duel could be going the side of Valhalla here, and I think the Mei is kind of more important than the sim here on this point, as they can get those extra walls here to isolate.
Valhalla having a tough time getting through this choke. They're going to go ahead and rotate towards main. Danny Boy very aware of this, trying to pump those shots in. So Danum using the Gravitic Flux. Techno Bunny has the Coalescence in order to counteract that. Now both of these teams are going to go on to point, but Wukron maybe a little too quick, does get bursted down by the Coalescence, and Mugen Cypher's res gets denied. Doesn't look like Zandy Boy's Bob is getting a whole lot, and Ravioli Stain gonna commit the Blizzard as well. Picks are actually going back and forth right now, but Atcat with the res onto Ravioli Stain, it looks like Valhalla will be able to take this point back, but Tantalizers able to build up 72%.
Yeah, and Tantalizers did a really good job right there, baiting out a lot of ults on the side of Valhalla. Rav maybe a little bit too eager with that Blizzard, probably would want to save that for next fight. It seemed like that fight may have been won off the back of it, but nonetheless took the point here. So looking, gonna have to build up some big ult percent here not to make this a one fight if they lose it again.
So we'll have to see what combo we're gonna see. Are we gonna see the Dragons with the Supercharger? Are we gonna see an initiation with the Valkyrie? That's kind of the game plan. How do they want to use these ults, or if they're gonna try and go more patient? But that's tough. Opening pick from Prophetic One that will be rezzed by Mugen Cypher, and they are gonna initiate with both the Supercharger and the Valkyrie. Whisk Queen able to find the pick onto Prophetic One, and there's that Dragons. It finds one. Techno Bunny takes Whisk Queen out though, so picks are going back and forth. In fact, Atcat able to get the res onto Prophetic One. This could be the turning point in this fight, and Techno Bunny gonna initiate with the Coalescence. Nice shatter from Danny, and it looks like Valhalla will definitely get the cleanup here, and Parson Pixie even gonna use the Coalescence, but to no avail. And we're maybe approaching one team fight territory. Parson Pixie has to get out of here really quickly.
Yeah, you are looking at that one fight territory as both Moiras do get staggered, but I think it's an unneeded trade right there on the side of Valhalla, as it does get res, but Rez is now burned for 30 seconds. There's no second life on the side of Valhalla as there is for Tans.
So here we go. Tantalizers, they're kind of split up here, and Whisk Queen finds the opening pick onto Ravioli Stain. And like you said, no res is available. Grab Dragon's combo does take out one, but the advantage is still definitely going to the Tantalizers. Tank's trying to get aggressive. There's the res onto Whisk Queen. And Sov gets his Gravitic Flux canceled. That could have been the fight winner for Tantalizers. In fact, Prophetic One finds the pick onto Parsnip. Pixie Prophetic One. This is what we were talking about. He had an electrifying performance. He builds up another Dragons already. Oh, actually, that's Whisk Queen popping the Dragons. Apologies. And Tantalizers not able to touch the point. And Valhalla, once again, for the 7th map in a row, take map 1. I actually think that's kind of crazy. They've won every single first control map.
Yeah, definitely could have went either way, especially that second point, but I think the tank line and then Atcat on that Brig on first point, and then Rav playing the Mager on second point was really kind of the difference maker here. They just had more sustain, either from DPS or support on the side of Valhalla on that point, just making it tougher and tougher for them to actually isolate and take down the tank line of Valhalla. So Tams was kind of just at a loss and getting kind of stagnant in a lot of their pushes there.
So now, big question is how many swaps will we see? Valhalla, they have a lot of members on their bench. Tantalizers, they do not have quite as many, but they certainly have a couple players. Lead Arrow could come in and maybe play that Zarya, and Crunchy Magi has not yet played, at least I do not believe so. So they could make their debut here.
Yeah, I think if you're on the side of Valhalla here, you don't want to I guess, substitute. You had a very, very good first round, so try to keep a couple of those pieces in there to carry that momentum into round 2. And on the side of Tantalizers, I mean, see what swaps you can make, see if you can capitalize any of the things you saw in that first round. I mean, it's still a very winnable game for you, but you don't want to get complacent and keep running the same thing over and over again. Mix it up here and see if you can catch Valhalla off guard.
They are going to keep Danny, Rybuds, and Prophetic One in, not PowerPoint. Coming in as well, he is not currently in the lobby, but Sakura Sauce and Mama Bear are. So we will... Oops, I did not mean to do that.
Yeah, so you're keeping that same tank line there for Valhalla, which I think played very, very well there on map 1. Danny on that Ryan and Rybuds on the Zarya, though, seemed to do very, very well. And you're keeping half of that DPS line that did play very well as well. But you are getting a full swap there on the support line for Valhalla. And I know Atcat is typically the Lucio player on this team, so curious to see if Sakura or Mama Bear picks up that role, or if they go for a different support line here to go with that Ryan Zarya, as you are used to seeing either a Lucio or sometimes a break here with the Ryan Zarya to elevate that brawl.
So we are actually going to see Crunchy Magi making their debut on DPS here, going out for Whisk Queen, who has been playing a lot of maps recently. They've really shown a lot of great plays on that Junkrat, a lot of highlight-worthy rip tires and just overall flanks. So we'll have to see. Perhaps Crunchy Magi can add a little bit more flexibility, as we really typically only see Whisk Queen play the Junkrat and the Hanzo.
Yeah, I do like the switch up here. You did drop map 1, so bringing in Crunchy here. No one's seen Crunchy play before, I don't believe, on DPS. So you do have kind of that element of surprise of, okay, what are they going to run, how do they run, and stuff like that, as opposed to if Whisk Queen is in on the side of Tantalizers, like you said, you're going to expect that flank Junkrat or that Hanzo, so it's somewhat easier to prep for. So maybe throwing a wild card here in on this map 2 will lead to a victory here for Tantalizers.
And we are in a new map rotation. It is always interesting to see the strategies that these teams like to come up with. And that'll be no different for Eichenwald, where we do see a lot of bunker strats, which I wouldn't be surprised if we see that coming out from Valhalla.
Yeah. Eichenwald, I'm a big fan of the double barrier here on Eichenwald. I still think Sigma is in a very, very good spot. So Ryan Sigma, Orisa Sigma here could be very crucial to the defensive team here to start, but you also can see really almost any comp can work if ran properly on this. You just have to get through that first initial bridge or death gate, what it used to be, whenever Sim could put as many turrets as she wanted.
You know, not gonna lie, well, I still consider Sim as one of my kind of mains, but I don't play her as much as I did before, but as a Sim main, I kind of miss that old Sim sometimes, not gonna lie. Mainly the shield that she threw out, like, is always satisfying to block, like a Diva Bomb with that.
Yeah, always was. But, you know, Overwatch is constant reworks on heroes, so who knows, Sim may be put back in that support line at some point in time. As we do get ready here, we do have readies from one side here, waiting on the readies here. From Tantalizers here, then we'll get ready to go here on our second map. Still, I mean, 1-0 Valhalla, but still definitely a winnable map here, map 2 for Tantalizers.
I mean,
really need to get this here to get some momentum going back here towards the end of the season.
Like I said, Valhalla has won every single map 1 of the season in every single one of their matches, but they are 2-4, so clearly if there is an opening, you know, this would be it.
Yeah, no, I think, I mean, like we said earlier at the top of the game here, I mean, it's still at the bottom. Everything is still wide open. Tantalizers made this push last season to almost get themselves a playoff spot, end up getting edged out by Summit at the very end. But I mean, still very doable for them this season here, just to repeat that. But hopefully for them, make the playoffs this time. Trying to get a ready here on the side of Tantalizers. Pixie's not in this time. Pixie's just the one that gives the readies. We're getting one right here. Oh, okay. They're almost ready, so stand by here.
Technically, they do only have 1 more minute. We started at 7:15. They get 7 minutes in between maps, but
okay, they're ready. So let's go here with map 2.
okay.
Good old Eichenwald.
I like Eichenwald a lot. I'm excited to see what these teams continue to run.
Yeah, I mean, I love Eichenwald as a map, because I think all 3 points here, there's a different meta for each point. I mean, on Streets phase there, you can see a lot of Widow, a lot of Pharah getting a lot of value. On point 1 here, double shield bunker is really good for defensive teams. And on point 3, I mean, you just have to rely on those big ults if you're attacking to kind of team wipe, because that spawn advantage is so massive.
So here we go, Valhalla. They are actually gonna continue to run this Ryan Zarya here, kind of doing a lot of the same stuff that they were running there on Nepal, and for the most part, kind of similar stuff from Tantalizers too. Also gonna run that Ryan Zarya.
Yeah, you look at the Ryan Zarya both sides. I mean, if it's not broke, don't fix it, I guess, on the side of Valhalla. My only concern, though, on the side of both teams is there's no defensive ult for these Gravs or Blade or Barrage or Visor or anything really here. So really just gonna have to kind of just weather the storm with those ults as opposed to having like that typical Lucio there to beat and negate ult value.
You do see some members of Valhalla, they're going to open up with a relatively aggressive positioning now, backing up to that choke. Ravioli Stain's turret is already down, playing that defense torb. Now we see Tantalizers, they're going to try and rotate through this room. Zanny Boy up from the top, having that pocket from Mugen Cypher, going to try and pepper in that damage. Early Immortality Field out from So Danum. They're going to try and go aggressive on that. Wukong getting low, but so is Danny, who will be the first to fall. It will actually be Magi the first to fall. Wukong also down as well, and it looks like we will see Valhalla. They will stabilize on this first defense.
Yeah, and it's weird to me to see here that Zanny is not getting more value on that Pharah, with Mugen playing a pocket on him quite a bit. And that turret seems to be constantly out. I'm honestly very surprised here to see Zanny's not kind of worked his way into the backline. Need a couple more picks here, as you really only have Sakura as the true hit scan, I guess, there to try and negate the Pharah.
Well, just as you're saying that, he finds the opening pick on the Sakura Sauce. Wukong with a nice pin on the Rybuds, and it looks like Tantalizers, they're going to break through here. They might not even need to use the barrage that Zanny Boy has, but they do have to be careful. Prophetic One still on the point here, trying to build up to that blade, does get taken out right before they are able to build it, and Tantalizers will cap point A.
Yeah, and it looks like the side of Valhalla here is playing for that Nano Blade, would be my thought here, is why they're keeping the Genji Ana whenever Pharah seem to get a lot of value right there against you. So hopefully that Blade is big for them there, maybe combo with a grab. On the side of Pants here, you're really looking at almost every ult up here for you. Actually probably an ult party on both sides here, as the lowest is 70% on both sides.
Ravioli Stain initiating with the Molten Core, so Danum has the Immortality Field. Wukong doesn't really find anything with the Shatter. Here comes Prophetic One with that Nano Blade, trying to get into the backlines. Not finding too much, actually. It does have to retreat. Wukong is down, but the payload will continue to keep moving. Elite Arrow, though, able to take out Prophetic One. That puts a lot of pressure off of their backlines. Danny Boy still has that barrage, maybe getting in position to do it right now. There's Danny's Shatter. That is a nice Shatter, but Zanny Boy gonna make sure that they can aggress on that with the barrage. Crunchy Magi also gonna use Attack Visor, and it looks like Tantalizers are gonna win another team fight once again.
Yeah, and you mentioned that Wukong really didn't get a lot of value on that Shatter. The one thing he did get, though, is that Nano Blade initially landed right in front of Wukong. Looked like they were going to go straight for the Reinhardt there, and the Shatter actually negated probably about half the value that that Blade was going to get. So high IQ play there by him to shut down majority of that Genji ult.
Perhaps a low IQ play there from Wukong that time, kind of getting caught in the choke there as payload approaches point B, and it looks like we are going to see Valhalla able to stabilize at this bridge, which actually is a nice spot to defend from. It is a tricky spot to attack, and ooh,
Pause.
we do have
Pause.
Zanny Boy leaving the game.
Yeah, so we do have that pause right there for Zanny Boy appearing to lag out possibly right there. But yeah, good stop right there by Valhalla here to stop them right at that bridge spot where it's going to be tough for Tantalizers to really get too many fights against them with that being so far away. Good part though for Tantalizers right there, did bait out the ult out of Rybuds right there, which probably was not needed. Got 2 or 3, but the fight appeared to be already won right there. So they now have no Zarya ult they have to worry about on the side of Valhalla, and you do have that Zarya ult on the side of Tantalizers. The only bad side for Tantalizers though here is you lose any ult charge that Zanny may have had before lagging out of something that could combo with that grab.
They do have the Valkyrie coming online as well. They could use that large-scale damage boost to really go aggressive onto that Graviton Surge. So we'll have to see how they want to approach this next team fight, but we are currently waiting for Zanny Boy to hopefully come back. That would be really rough for Tantalizers if Zanny Boy does have internet issues right now. They were having a really good push. They still have 3 minutes to get it to point B, 4.5 minutes to get it to point C if they are able to get through point B. So they could actually set a pretty nice time bank. They've only really lost one, now two fights. The second fight just happened now, so they're making some good time, and it would really hurt if they got stalled on this bridge with how much time they have in the time bank.
Yeah, no, that's still definitely good opportunity for them to set a good time and put some pressure here on the side of Valhalla. But yeah, now we just wait. You set the timer, correct? I'm assuming. For Zanny, it's 5 minutes, correct?
Is it 5 minutes? I thought it was 3 minutes, but
I believe it's. Oh,
well,
if anybody from Stream Team is watching this,
it's 7. It started. The pause was at 7:27. So.
I probably should know this better off of being in Stream Team, but I'll double check with Nation, but I believe it's 3. It's 5, I mean. But yeah, more fill time. Did you watch the summer, what's it called, the summer melee?
Summer
it's
showdown.
3, so my bad. We go now. That's.
Yeah.
I would give them a heads up that we're getting ready to go.
Know, yeah.
Unfortunate on the side of Tantalizers. If anybody from Stream Team is watching this, don't judge us for not knowing. I'm sorry.
Well, because I thought it was 3 minutes, but then you said 5, and I was like, ooh, I kind of second guessed myself.
I didn't.
Did they?
Blame
did
me.
they change that, and I didn't notice?
Yeah, unfortunately for Tantalizers, we're just gonna have to go without Zanny here. So give them the heads up, and we will go.
Yeah. Okay, let's get back into it. Hopefully Zanny can maybe get themselves back into the game either before this attack is up or for the defense, because you certainly can see some full holds. You can even see holds at this bridge. We've seen a lot of times where teams actually make it to just before point B and they are able to hold and win the map based off of that. So we'll see. Zanny boy, he can join whenever he wants.
Or whenever he's able to. I'm sure he
wants
to now.
Whenever
He's able
you're
to,
true. You're true.
He's able to join.
I'll have to see.
That
I will say we have seen a 5v6 come out in favor of the 5 before. Agent of Slime versus Legion of Doom back in Season 1. That was a crazy game, but here we go. Immortality Field out to save Wukong. Not gonna find anything with the Shatter, and the follow-up from Danny is absolutely massive. They will easily clean this team fight up. Good bubble from Elite Arrow. He's high charge. He's gonna try and get away, preserve that charge. Actually might be able to here. No, he's actually gonna try and continue to get picks. That might be risky, but he does take out Ravioli Stain. Can he get out with their life? No. So at the end of the day, it was not worth it.
I mean, at the end of the day, for them, it's gonna be an alt. Party's gonna be what takes point for them. So Elite trying to build up some alt charge right there over keeping charge is not a bad decision, because they're gonna need an ultimate party here in order to take this point 5 on 6.
Yeah, and what hurts the most is sometimes you would rather maybe have like only one healer instead of just one DPS, because you're just not quite putting enough damage into the other team. Prophetic Prophetic one. Gonna throw in the Bob. Not gonna get a whole lot of value actually in this room. Kinda caught, but Ravioli Sane able to find Crunchy Magi. Prophetic one is down, but with the 4v5 still in play for Valhalla, I'm not thinking that they're going to be able to do too much, but Rybod's actually out of position here. So here we go. Maybe we will see Tantalizers turn this around. Wukong is down, but here comes the rotation from Sov. He's going to pop the Amplification Matrix, but Prophetic one back on the Genji. Able to take him down. And with only 40 seconds left, this is going to be incredibly difficult to be able to take this. They are coming up on tack visor, and maybe they'll get their tank ults, but I mean, it's gonna take a mirror. Actually, we are gonna see Crunchy Magi use the tack visor and get taken out. That is rough for the Tantalizers.
Yeah, as you push here for the last fight, you're gonna basically have Shatter, and that's about it though. As they do die, but
that might.
Lucian's trying to backcap here.
That would have been very sneaky if that had happened, but Ravioli saying duplicating the Reinhardt. Danny Yuki hit that nice shatter with Rybuds on the Graviton Surge as well. Nice move from Mutant Cypher, actually staying alive on the point here, but I don't think anyone else is going to make it. And the payload will only reach about right before point B.
Yeah, really unfortunate there for Tantalizers. They were putting a pretty good time in there with about 3 minutes left on point B whenever Zanny Boy DC'd. So, unfortunate right there because they could have set a really, really good time for themselves, but now they have to bunker down, I think, literally here and try to hold point A. I would say for a full hold here is your best bet. Maybe you can hold something on point B, but it's tougher to make this full hold, this hold in Streets phase. So outside of a double shield Bastion or something, I don't know what else you run here. I think you almost have to go with that cheesy comp if you're fighting a 5-on-6 right here.
Ready for battle.
And instead of a Bastion, you do see the double shield Torb this time though. Double shield Torb with a BAP Mercy. So a little bit more mobile with the Torbjorn, gonna have that turret to be kind of a 6th man, but still going to be a very tough hold here for the side of Tantalizers here. As you see, the Junkrat gonna be pretty high damage, breaking down both those shields on the side of Valhalla.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming.
Okay, so here we go. We're gonna have to see if the 5v6 defense is a possibility. They really cannot take one pick off though, and they're gonna have to find the early picks of their own. Torture trying to pump in a lot of damage onto that Rhine. Rybuds is actually the first to fall. Crunchy Magi finds the nice headshot. Wukong gonna have to be careful though, doesn't want to get too aggressive there. In fact, does fall down, and the picks now are going in favor of Valhalla. And it is definitely only a matter of time before they take point A. Good res from Mutant Cypher, but still the same result should apply.
Yeah, that's gonna be a quick point take there by the side of Valhalla. So now as you push onto the Streets phase, you're really kind of just hoping for miracles. You do see Crunchy Magi switch to that Bastion, but I mean, like I said, miracles what you're looking for on the side of your Tantalizers. It's just going to be a tough time here, especially with Genji now is going to try to counter that Bastion, and Ravioli's saying to put a lot of pressure on Bastion wherever he sits down. It's going to be a tough one. Uphill battle for them for sure. Doable, but they're going to need to play this pretty quickly.
And there's the Dragon Blade coming out from Prophetic One, so has the Immortality Field to save them, and he does get taken down here. So that's one ult that they're able to defend here. Still a 5v5 though. Lead Arrow does have the Gravitic Flux, but that is another thing that they're going to have to worry about, is making sure that they use these ults effectively and not waste too many of them, or else they're just not going to have enough to defend.
Yeah, and it's probably not going to come to bite them too hard, but that blade there by Prophetic is questionable at the least, in my opinion. Maybe a little bit overzealous on his side, but pushed way too far in front of his team, trying to maybe highlight the play there as Genji.
Ravioli Stain does use the tire to take out Crunchy. That will get res, but that allows Valhalla to get aggressive on the tanks that didn't have as much support. We are actually going to see Sakura Sauce invest the Nano, but that is a nice pick onto Wukong. This isn't looking good for Tantalizers, who already had an uphill battle to begin with. And there's a nice Graviton Surge to get them off the point. Only Mutant Cypher here, and it looks like the Dragon Blade will close it out, and Valhalla will get the easy victory here. Hopefully Tantalizers, they can either get Zanny Boy to get back in the lobby. They still do have Whis Queen. Hopefully they can
Play of the game.
make the comeback here, because you don't want to see that. You don't want to see losses because of disconnections.
Yeah, no, it's, again, super unfortunate for Tantalizers. They were kind of building a lot of momentum for themselves here in this game. Still can carry some of that, though, into map 3 here on a what might have been basis, as because I mean, if Zanny Boy still there, could be a completely different story, as they were putting a lot of pressure there on the side of Valhalla. So they showed some weaknesses. They exploited some weaknesses there of Valhalla, it looked like. So maybe capitalize on them for third and fourth map here, and maybe push it to a map 5.
Ooh, interesting thing we're gonna see from Valhalla. Sakura Sauce actually coming on to play the tank role. That should be very interesting. I don't know if they've played much tank this season.
No, but if I remember correctly, I think they're a diva player, which would make sense here paired here with Danny, who runs that Reinhardt and has ran Winston before in the past. So maybe looking at somewhat of a dive here on the side of Valhalla here. As I'm assuming you're getting the switches, do I need to read them to you? Or you got them?
Let me swap the spectators really quick, because I forgot to do
Oh,
that.
you're good.
Snip Pixie, you can spectate. Okay, there we go. So now let's move D-Man
Usually
also
just-
coming in here.
Yep. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I don't know how much we've seen of D-Man this season, but I know from prior seasons a pretty good Junkrat Reaper player for, I believe it was it We the Ops or
At first it
Summit
was We
last
the Ops,
season?
and then they played on Summit for like that second half of the season. And yeah, they were a pretty solid player, you know, playing that Junkrat and that Reaper. Also can play a little bit of McCree if I remember correctly. So
Also, I believe Elite out, Pixie in is the only swap on the side of Valhalla, as Crunchy's going to move to tank, and Sob's going to move to DPS here, and then Pixie is going to play, I'm assuming, that trademark Moira of hers. As we do get ready here for the 2CP map, which in this rotation...
Hanamura.
That's what I thought. Hanamura. Good. Out of all the 2CP maps, probably my favorite. Don't really like 2CP maps in general, but Hanamura is a pretty good 2CP map. See a lot of different strats on it. Unique in the fact that I believe it is, well, other than Paris, which is out of rotation right now, that ledge on the back makes it very susceptible here to ball boops and Lucio boops here if you rush that point hard enough.
Yeah, definitely one of the only 2CP maps where you can get those environmental kills. I mean, I guess there's some possibilities on Skya, but those are incredibly rare. Whereas, at least Point A is relatively close to that bottomless pit, so you do see some Lucios able to get boops, especially if the team is able to get the defenders kind of having to back up to the back of that point, which leaves them susceptible.
Yeah, and now as we wait here for readies on both sides, we ready here for the third map. You do see Valhalla here up 2-0 going into map 3. So, we need to swap names as well.
Ooh,
Oops.
thank you very much. Felt like there was something I was maybe forgetting.
Yeah, I did not realize it until I just looked straight up at it. But yeah, so Tantalizers here need that win to stay alive in the series here. Valhalla can play for the draw or the win here to solidify them winning this series, but with the bottom of the table here looking so close on this in tier 3, I think you're wanting that win here to kind of solidify that map differential, bring you up here closer to the teams above you.
Yeah, a 4-0 would be really huge because even Valhalla's wins against Duck Duck Dive and Tater Pots, they were only able to gain a single map. One was 2-1-1, the other was 3-2. So, I mean, if they are able to maybe get, you know, the 4-0 here, that would really help them and would basically solidify them in that 8th place spot for probably at least the next week.
Yeah, and here we go on to map 3 here. Good old Hanamura for this week here in tier 3. We will have, if colors are correct, we will have the Valhalla here attacking first with Tantalizers here on the defense. Curious to see what Tantalizers here run on this initial defense. I'm assuming you will see Wukron there on the Reinhardt, but curious with Crunchy Magi, first time seeing them on tank, what they run to complement Wukron here.
Ready for battle.
Interesting start here for Valhalla. Okay, they are gonna go on to that Junkrat, but right now they're going with the Wrecking Ball Hog combo, which it goes by a name, which I maybe cannot say on stream.
They're just playing Mystery Heroes right now. I would wait until anybody rolls out of spawn for that. They've each selected about 7 different heroes in the process of you talking about them.
Well, as for Tantalizers, we do see Whisk Queen back on that signature Junkrat. And so, Dan, I'm gonna be on that defensive sim. We'll have to see how that works. We are gonna see a pretty nice dive here from Valhalla, but Danny already incredibly low. A lot of members actually on the side of Valhalla are low, but AtCat gets the opening pick onto Whisk Queen, not able to get back to the team. Danny gonna try and go aggressive on that, but has to be careful as they are low, somehow still alive, finally gets taken out by Crunchy Magi on that Orisa. But overall, picks going in favor of Valhalla. Good pin from Wukron. Not gonna find much so far in AtCat. There it is, finds the boop onto Wukron. That might be it, unless Crunchy Magi can find these picks. Nikamako is low, but gets the healing. Whisk Queen back, however, perhaps that could be what they need. Whisk Queen actually very close to that tire. You see Ravioli staying up here in the window, trying to pump in damage, not really moving a lot. Kind of counterintuitive of what Echo usually does, but... And here we go, Whisk Queen actually snuck up on Ravioli staying, that was kind of interesting. But only finds one with the tire. Whisk Queen also gets one with the trap. And I think we are going to see the Tantalizers be able to stabilize here and not even give up an entire tick. Whisk Queen still alive, so low Wukron is too. Spawn advantage may be huge here for Valhalla. Whisk Queen is res, D-Man builds, building up that tire. A lot of ults coming online for Valhalla. But if they don't stabilize or find picks soon, they will probably lose this team fight. And with Whisk Queen also taking down AtCat, both of these healers down, Sakura Sauce down as well, I think that Valhalla are going to back up. But excellent job from Tantalizers. They had almost lost point A there, but Whisk Queen with a nice play.
Yeah, no, Whisk Queen played that very well, but Crunchy Magi did a very, very good job of just being sustained there, on point, using golds correctly and stuff like that, and really made it so that Whisk Queen didn't have to be on point the whole time, really enabling them to hop around with that point, get the max value they could.
Danny trying to dive onto Soldanum here. Mutant Cypher gonna pop the Valkyrie in defense of that. And here comes D-Man Bill's tires. Can it get taken down? No, it finds two. Soldanum and Crunchy Magi are down, but Whisk Queen still finding picks. There's the res onto that sim. So here we go. Another tire from Whisk Queen is able to take out Danny. This is huge for Tantalizers. Only a minute and a half left, and they are looking in pretty solid position to get this full hold.
Yeah, as you do see Valhalla here switch off of that dive and go with the Reinhardt here, which I think is a smarter play. But you do have both the tank ults on the side of Tantalizers here, and it's going to be tough there for Sakura to get a really effective bomb, I think, here, especially if they let Sob's ult build up here. It's going to be essentially 3 shields they're throwing this ult into.
Big thing is Ravioli Stain's going to use a duplicate onto the sim. That's kind of an interesting choice there, but they're using it to teleport. Here comes the Diva Bomb, and they're not in position to be able to block it. Mutant Cypher goes down, but Wukong using the Shatter. Not really gonna actually find a hold on. Sakura Sauce actually finding the pickoffs here. 3 kills there for Sakura Sauce right in a row, and I think that we will see Valhalla with only 30 seconds to go able to take point A.
Yeah, big brain play out there by Rav. She played that very, very well. Not necessarily a flashy play, but taking that high ground immediately as Symmetra was massive for that team fight, as well as having the ultimate there to really negate the damage and solidify that fight there at the very end. I think that really, really smart duplicate right there, although didn't get a lot of kills, was definitely big for the team right there to take that point.
Whisk Queen heavily staggered here. We'll see if Valhalla, they want to go aggressive on this and try and get that snowball. If they can have a good time bank here on Hanamura, that's huge. Point B can be tricky to attack at times. D-Man Bills has the tire, as does Whisk Queen. Whisk Queen gonna use theirs first. Does find 2, and that will likely immediately shut down this team fight. D-Man Bills still up here though, able to take out his counterpart. And Sove actually kind of out of position, able to get away for now. It looks like Valhalla, they're gonna keep kind of poking this out, see if they can find any picks.
Yeah, I mean, you have D-Man here with the tire, so with the team almost back, D-Man hits a big tire here, no defensive ult on the side of Tantalizers. This could be a big swing for him here. It's been interesting to see how they go about it, but D-Man does get picked early there.
Whisk Queen knows where those Junkrat flanks are going. He knows, or she knows, sorry. She knows where to find those angles and is able to take out her counterpart. Cat also down. Less than 2 minutes remaining here for Valhalla to capture point B.
Yeah, interesting to see them take this push here top right with a Sim and a Junkrat right there. It's going to be super tough for them to get up through this choke, through the double shield. I'd be interested to see if they wanted to maybe push underneath rotation here or something to try and get a little bit more value.
Here we go, D-Man Bills throwing in the tire. How many will he find, if any? Here it comes, does take out Whisk Queen. Will that perhaps be rezzed by Mutant Cypher, maybe in an unrezzable spot? So here we go. Both Mercies using the Valkyrie, and there it is, the res onto Whisk Queen, but both of the tanks on the side of Tantalizers are down. And Danny with the nice shatter puts Parsnip, Pixie, and Sylve on the ground. Whisk Queen, though, has the tire, but it gets taken out by Sakura Sauce. There's 1 tick on point B, that's actually massive. Here's 2. Here comes Crunchy Magi and Rukron, though. They can contest here, but Crunchy not able to find that supercharger. And with Rukron not on the point, Valhalla will take point B as well. 46 seconds in the time bank.
Yeah, Tans brought him down to a good time bank here, so definitely still a winnable map for them. Interesting to see, though, how they go on their attack. West Queen really was getting some good value out of tires there and building them quickly, but it'd be interesting to see what they decide to do if they want to keep that Junkrat on the attack. Not really a lot of flank value really you can get, so I don't know if that plays to the strengths of Whisk Queen on that rat. Maybe a Hanzo or a Sombra or something here might provide a little more backline poke or some damage up front that can help get them through the chokes. I don't see the flank Junkrat really being able to get too much value, especially against the comp that it looks like Valhalla's getting ready to run.
And we'll have to
As
see
you
if
have that typical double shield bunker on the side of Valhalla.
but we will see the sim strap possibly coming out from the maybe not. I keep getting baited with these attackers selections, but we do see a lot of sim strats here on Hanamura. There's actually a lot of places that you can teleport. We even see that in the Overwatch League a lot. Definitely one of those maps that you can really put yourself in nice positions, and we did kind of see that when Ravioli Stain copied sim there when Valhalla were able to take point A.
Yeah, I think a sim strat would not be a bad option against this Bastion.
Yeah,
kind of TP you through his line of sight.
They are going to go with it. Oh my goodness, D-Man Bills, though, more aggressive than possibly get. But he is able to survive for right now, and Crunchy Magi not able to survive that pressure from the Orisa, and the Bastion is taken out of mech and is already down. Tantalizers still in here trying to fight this, and there's a nice pin onto Ravioli Stain to take out that Bastion, and then maybe an unresable spot as well. So now here we go, Tantalizers, they're trying to get aggressive onto the point here, trying to find the rest of the pickoffs they need. And so Danum, the longer they last, the longer their beam will be charged, and Mugen Cypher finding 2 with the boop. That will be an incredibly fast take from Tantalizers.
Yeah, only downside is they took it so fast, really no ults built up on the side for the snowball here, so we're really going to have to kind of play this slow and at least build up a couple ults to attempt the snowball.
But they've got 6 minutes to do it. They definitely can, and they are gonna teleport across the chasm. Actually, only Wukron is gonna teleport. He's actually in trouble. This isn't good. He might get heavily staggered unless he can maybe get out. No, he will not be able to. The rest of Tantalizers are gonna try and contest the point, but I think this is all over, especially not having the one shield that you do have. Looks like they're just kind of trying to play the poke game. For now, WeSqueen incredibly low, does get the healing they need, and is actually on the flank here, getting close to that tire. Has to be careful, as no one is there to support for him. We are going to see Valhalla stay on kind of this bunker strat without the double shield, though. What do you think of that?
I like it here. I mean, the spawn advantage is so big here, and there's a lot of better Bastion spots here for Valhalla here on defense, so I could see it working here. You just need to be smart and expect these tires from WeSqueen to hit and go for your Bastion, so protect them at all costs.
We do see Akat getting the res onto D-Man builds. WeSqueen not able to get res as Tantalizers do not have a mercy. And there we go, both DPS from the side of Valhalla being popped. Mugen Cypher has the sound barrier in order to counteract it, but the tire still takes out 2. Arsene Pixie trying to get work done with that Coalescence. Crunchy Magi able to find 2. But at the end of the day, with the spawn advantage, I don't know if we're going to be able to see Tantalizers take this, but here we go. Tire takes out 1, and Diva Bomb takes Sakura out of mech, but at the end of the day, I just think the spawns are going to be too much. So then I'm back on the Soldier, trying to find the pickoffs. Crunchy Magi still continuing to find picks despite being out of mech. Res onto Ikamako. So able to find another pick, but is getting relatively low, not able to survive, and I think Tantalizers, they just have to back up here. I don't think there's any chance that they are able to turn this around.
Yeah, I mean, never say never here. There's a possibility, but at this point it is looking very grim, and that is bad for Tans here, because that's a waste of 2 of your big clearing ults right there with you use Diva Bomb, you use Riptire, both short-handed, and really got very little value out of them. So now you have to rebuild here and try again for another fight here, another minute or so. So I think you really, on the side of Tantalizers, you made a big mistake there by using your 2 biggest ults to no avail and end up burning them both on fights where you're down a person.
Mugen Cypher gonna swap to that Mercy to try and match the reses of Atcat, and that's where I think the fight kind of went wrong, is they lost WeSqueen right off the bat, and they didn't have the res, whereas Atcat was able to res D-Man, and he was able to pop the tire.
Yeah, we're talking about WeSqueen here on the Junkrat, but I think D-Man is definitely holding their own, if not excelling past WeSqueen in a couple aspects here. This D-Man's playing very good on this Junkrat here, especially defensively.
Here's the tire, not going to find anything. Mostly all the damage was eaten by Crunchy's defense matrix. Crunchy actually is very low though. Gonna have to be careful. Several ults also coming online for Tantalizers. Tactvisor being popped right now, able to take out AdCat, but Crunchy Magi is down, and the Blizzard Diva Bomb is massive! That is 5 kills, and will immediately shut down that team fight. That Tantalizers actually looked like they were maybe swinging in their favor, but good combo from Ravioli Stain and Sakura Sauce.
Yeah, and you have a lot of ults here on the side of Tantalizers here to attempt to take this fight here again, but you just cannot use ults poorly here. I mean, you need to win this fight to have a better time bank probably, so you need to just be smart with how you're using them here. Don't overextend and go crazy here, as you do see Wisp Queen just jump into the back line here. Luckily gets out alive, but could have been a big mistake right there if they got caught.
They do find the pick, so Tantalizers maybe looking to go aggressive on this. They have several ults to use. In fact, they are coming up on everyone except the Tactvisor, which they used in the last fight. Here we go. Which one will they pop first? AdCat going to use the defensive Valkyrie here. Maybe a little early than you would expect. Mutant Cypher going to use it offensively, but Tantalizers, they're not really going as aggressive as you'd expect. But here comes Rukron on the flank. There's the Tire. Does find 2. Sov is down though. And AdCat finds the red onto Sakura Sauce. Able to get back mech. Here comes Crunchy Magi throwing in the Diva Bomb. Mutant Cypher finds the res onto Sov. Picks are definitely going in favor of Tantalizers, but they have to keep getting them, or else the spawn advantage is just going to be too much. And look at this. 4 people already back. Rukron finds Nika Mako, but with Sov and Wisp Queen both going down, I don't know if there's any way that Tantalizers are going to be able to turn this around. And look at how many ults not only did they use, but how many ults Valhalla still have left.
Yeah, just looking here, one fight territory here for Tantalizers. Really kind of reset ults for them completely. Going to be super tough here, as you do see Sakura building up that bomb. Danny with that Shatter, and Rav here with the Blizzard. It's going to be very, very tough here for Tant. So they need to get an early pick and get aggressive on it and push the issue.
Perhaps, oh no, that is not how to open this up. The thing I was going to say is maybe Crunchy Match, I could maybe eat that Blizzard, but with Soul going down as well, this is not looking good at all. Ravioli Stain gonna use the Blizzard. Overtime is initiated. Mutant Cypher with the res onto Solve. Solve almost at that Tactvisor. Here we go, but D-Man Bill is throwing in the Tire, gonna find 2, and it looks like it's only a matter of time before we see Valhalla get their 2nd win in a row here, as they will take the series 3-0.
Yeah, very, very good job there by Valhalla. I think kind of the well, you're gonna see her in this play of the game, I would assume, but the unspoken superstar that kind of went under the radar besides this 5-piece here was Sakura there on that Diva. Really kind of pressured the DPS line, both of Soldier and Junkrat, as well as really enabled Danny when he was getting pressured to eat a lot of the damage that was coming at him and allowed that tank line to brawl. So obviously with the 64% kill participation, really, really, really strong performance there by Sakura on the Diva for someone that we've not seen play tank yet this season.
Yeah, what a performance from Sakura Sauce there. It was flying around everywhere. They couldn't, Tantalizers, they just couldn't keep him in check. And that will drop them to 0-7 on the season. Hopefully this isn't the final nail in the coffin for their season, but it is grim times indeed. But they still have one more map to play, perhaps to soften the blow of the map differential. A lot of the teams down this low do not have great map differentials, so anything they can salvage from this loss could be huge in the long run.
Absolutely. I think you want this win here so you go into your next 2 weeks with some momentum and hopefully try to get some wins against some big teams. I think you have, on the side of Tents, I think you have Nova and Pizza Planet your next 2 weeks. 2 very tough games here, so I think you want to get this win here on this 4th map and try to build up some momentum going into those final 2 to try and go into the next 2 to try and push towards playoffs. And on the side of Valhalla here, I mean, I think you want the 4-0 to kind of put yourself more solidified there in that 8th spot, as you do have Duck Duck Dive right behind you. I think fairly close in-map differential as well as record. I think same record, maybe just a couple maps different on the differential side. So really wanting to kind of bolster themselves here in that 8th spot at least for another week. So the 4-0 is just as important for them as the 1-3 would be for Tantalizers.
Yeah, Cosmic Omnics, if they are to lose this week, they will... Already did that.
No, we still have 2 Valhallas.
Oh my goodness gracious.
But no, yeah, no, I agree. Definitely the 4-0 is necessary for Valhalla as much as the 1-3 is for Tantalizers. And definitely just a morale boost, I guess, on the side of Tantalizers. It's been a tough season for you thus far, so getting a win here against a team like Valhalla does a lot there for team morale, hopefully building in the next couple weeks for you. But Valhalla's looked very, very good. Don't do that ever again. I
That
didn't know what
was
to do.
really weird because, I mean, the only thing that happened is I lost connection to the lobby. In fact, when I tried to rejoin you, I couldn't. I had to just re-sign in, and the stream didn't go down either, which was... so it
That's the first
wasn't
thing I
really
checked.
like... Yeah, so it wasn't really like an internet issue on my end. I don't really know what happened there. So...
Okay, let's our rosters. I'm trying to make sure we had the lineups and stuff good while you were gone.
Yeah,
We don't.
whoops.
We need to Elite in for Sav, and Crunchy's going back to DPS, and Elite's gonna be my bad. Elite in for Wukron, sorry.
Okay.
And then Sav's gonna go to tank. Crunchy is going to go to DPS.
So the first clue I had is I was trying to switch Techno Bunny to Spectate Blue, but it wasn't letting me. I was like, what's going on here? And then I saw like that red plug icon that means internet problem. But it was
Yep.
weird. I was like, oh, is the whole stream gonna go down? But no, I just lost connection to the Overwatch servers, I guess.
And then do you see? I'm gonna give you switches
Yep.
for.
So Sylvan, Magi, Pixie, and
Okay.
Legion are still here.
Okay, and
Oh,
then
there's
for Valhalla,
my
do you want me to
PowerPoint.
read them to you?
I should be able to get it. So
Okay.
Danny's still in, Live in Truth coming in. Not power. And then Mama Bear.
And then whatever
Techno Bunny. Let's go
whatever
to
map 4
yeah,
is.
let's go to Dorado.
All right, and I will get ready for both teams after that fun little technical difficulty thing. as we do here, go for the final map here on this series here, going to Dorado. Good escort map. You have seen a lot of teams try for early holds here at that door. Made popular, I believe. I think it was by London Spitfire in the Overwatch League.
Yeah, that was crazy. They
Did the
completely
door hold?
full held the Washington Justice. Like they didn't even. I mean, they got it to the hill right off the bat, like that first little incline. Like it was pretty crazy. So yeah, we'll have to see. It's been a while since we've actually seen Dorado. We didn't even really get to see it last night against in the Diving Phoenix We the Ops game, as We the Ops did forfeit that map. So we'll have to see. I'm excited to see Dorado back in the rotation.
Can you swap Bunny in and out, please? She may have chat bug.
Oh,
So if you can make her
I can
one of
do
them
that.
fancy spectate alls, and then back to Valhalla. Good old chat bug. We have patches to nerf Genji, no, to buff Genji, nerf Brigitte, nerf Diva, but can't have one to fix this bug. Hopefully, hopefully this one gets it. I think I'm just waiting on chat bug issues here, and obviously teams need a little bit of extra time since we had that weird situation
Yeah,
of
with
Kirby
the
just disappearing
just
for a few minutes.
leaving, yeah. Thankfully, it was in between maps, at least. Like, thank God it wasn't during one of the maps. We've been good on
We're
that
ready to go
since.
here.
Okay,
They
yep,
gave us
both
the readies. We are
teams
good
got
to
the
go here
readies.
from all four.
Yep. We'll see, can Tantalizers salvage one map out of this, or
Traveling to Dorado.
can Valhalla get their first 4-0 of the season? Still a lot on the line for both of these teams in this map, so we might have another good one.
Yeah, definitely hope that both teams give their all here on this last map. A lot at stake here in just a single map in terms of playoffs and playoff pushes, so interesting to see, as we do have Tantalizers will be attacking first here, and you have the Valhalla here on defense.
And we are going to see not PowerPoint coming in here. Wasn't able to play earlier, was expected to, was in one of the lineups, but maybe having
Ready
some
for battle.
internet issues or something, but I'm glad to see him here, Living Truth. Normally the off tank here, been a lot of Rybuds and Sakura Sauce, who they have played incredibly well also, so.
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
Yeah, I think Danny's solidified himself as a very good tank here in this game. Living Truth here, like you said, usual tank player for his team. Curious to see if that Ryan Zarya levels up a little bit there from that synergy. And you have PowerPoint, who was on Zenyatta's last season. Good flex DPS, can play a very good McCree, so interesting to see what his first round of the night looks like.
5,
We aren't going to see Valhalla defend at the door. They're going to defend on that kind of standard high ground, and we actually are going to see Tantalizers. They're going to go with that rotation. We'll have to see if Valhalla can figure that out really quickly. Yep, it does look like D-Man Bills has spotted it out, trying to find the damage. Lead Arrow able to bubble, so Danum trying to get aggressive here. Arsenal Pixie has to be careful. Live in Truth actually on the low ground here might be a little bit aggressive, but D-Man finding Whisk Queen with the opening pick. Danny trying to find the pin kill. D-Man Bills continuing to pepper in so much damage. So Danum not going to be able to find the pin. Elite Arrow does find one, but at the end of the day it will likely be Valhalla winning this first team fight.
Yeah, and we've gone 50 seconds, and this card has not moved an inch. It is now moving. as Crunchy jumps on it with Torbjorn here, but that card did not move for almost a minute. I don't know if that's a miscue on the side of Tance or if that was their strat, try to win that first initial fight, but lost a lot of valuable time there on that first attack.
Yeah, perhaps they could have had the Torb stay on the card by themselves, and maybe they wouldn't have provided quite as much value in that main team fight. D-Man Bill is able to find one with a tire. Mugen Cypher gets that res, but so Danum is also down. You know, Live in Truth versus Elite Arrow. Elite Arrow actually probably going to build up the first grab. You see Whiskqueen getting aggressive. Mama Bear is down. Techno Bunny has the Coalescence in order to possibly keep them alive. Payload continues to move through the choke here. This Torb Turret doing a lot of damage. Danny trying to get aggressive with that bubble, but Elite Arrow, there's the Graviton Surge. Not PowerPoint, able to find two with the Deadeye, but Whiskqueen also throwing in the tire, finds one. Teamfight's still actually up for grabs. Not PowerPoint is incredibly low here. Does get taken down by Whiskqueen, and I think we will likely see Tantalizers able to take point A here.
Yeah, used both DPS ults there, support and a tank to get it, but nonetheless got that point and baited out High Noon out of not PowerPoint, as you do see PowerPoint switch onto that soldier.
So they did use a few ults in order to get that. Only saw the one from not PowerPoint. Wait, D-Man Bills also used the tire early in that fight, but Valhalla still building up a lot of ults here, but Whiskqueen able to find the pick onto D-Man Bills using that vertical mobility that Junkrat can have with those concussion mines to get him. Danny also down, both Coalescences are here, and they do cancel Mama Bear's res. And a shatter out from Sov Danum does find a couple, and Tantalizer still going aggressive. They might be able to snowball this through point B.
Yeah, they're setting a good pace for themselves to do that, as they do hold this spawn door pretty aggressively here. And you really don't have a... You have a couple ults here on the side, almost a tire built up on the side of Valhalla here to possibly recontest.
And a massive shatter with the tire! And the 4K, that will immediately shut down that team fight. And Valhalla, they do stabilize and prevent the snowball through point B.
Yeah, positive though for Tantalizers there is they did bait out both tank ults and a big DPS ult for Valhalla, but you do have Whiskqueen here trapped in the back, who does get staggered for a while, so that's going to shut down any aggressive team fight here for the next 15 seconds or so for Tantalizers.
So here we go, not PowerPoint on the high ground here, trying to find those angles to pepper in as much damage. Danny gonna take out that Torb turret. Definitely one of the most important things that Valhalla has to do. That Torb turret can do a lot of damage over time if you don't take it out. And now PowerPoint finding that pick onto Crunchy Magi, that will likely get res as it does. Several ults coming online for both of these teams here. Who will be the first to pop? There's D-Man Bill's getting incredibly low, so is Live in Truth and not PowerPoint. Two picks on both sides, but not PowerPoint from the high ground. Doesn't look like Tantalizers have a shield. They are using the payload for cover, but it's really only Parsnip, Pixie, and Magi here. They are down, or Magi is down. Parsnip, Pixie will have to retreat. And we do see Valhalla once again, just like they did on Hanamura there. They are able to kind of stabilize here after all was looking really well for the Tantalizers.
Yeah, I think the big thing here is that Tantalizers haven't switched to really counter PowerPoint here on the top. He's essentially just played pretty freely up here, besides a couple lucky shots from a Torb or a couple stray Junkrat balls. I mean, like, really nothing has contested him too hard up here, so they need to put something in play here to try to shut him down from just
both of these Rhines pin each other. D-Man Bills doesn't really get anything with the tire, and all of the ults pretty much coming out from Tantalizers. They've only found one so far. Whiskqueen still has that tire, but Magi is down. Techno Bunny still just kind of remaining uncontested on the point. Tantalizers aren't moving this point at all. Look at this, Techno Bunny just sitting here on the point. Mugen Cypher gets the res onto Magi. And perhaps Techno Bunny is actually going to be able to buy enough time. Somehow Techno Bunny's still alive. But Danny gets taken out. Sov Danum is incredibly low though. Gonna have to get that healing. from their healers. Payload approaching point B, but here comes Mama Bear getting the res onto Danny. Might have a 66 here coming up. And a lot of ults on both sides. And there's the shatter from Danny. Yuki puts several members of Tantalizers on the ground. And now PowerPoint gonna throw in the tac visor. It finds two. And I think we are gonna see Valhalla be able to stabilize, especially with Sov's shatter cancelled by that tac visor. Elite Arrow trying to survive for as long as he can. Not gonna find anything with the grab. Actually is gonna find Mama Bear, who accidentally flew into it and is down. Here comes D-Man Bills with that tire. Finds one. Can Whisk Queen possibly have a better one? No one touches the cart. And this is as far as the payload will reach for the Tantalizers on a map that I think, in my personal opinion, is a little bit more attack-oriented.
Yeah, it is a pretty good attack map, especially get those first 2 points. Third point with any map, though, it's iffy, but I do think Street Space here in Dorado is one of the easier ones to get through. Good hold there by Valhalla. I credit a lot of that, though, to PowerPoint really going, like I said, uncontested on that soldier, and Danny's just playing out of his mind right now on this Reinhardt. Kind of like what you and I said with Gamer's Blood after Anubis on for the Duck Duck Dive game earlier in the week. In my mind, Danny's just running away with this tank MVP right here. He's almost any shatter he's touched has turned into a massive team fight win, and he displayed it right there as having a clutch shatter followed up by PowerPoint there on the high ground was what essentially solidified this stop here on point 2. But still definitely a very winnable hold here for Tantalizers. They did put a decent push there to them, so I mean it's still something for them to fight for, and they can still come out of this with a 1-3 and have something to smile at and move into next week with.
We're going to see a bit of a different setup here from Tantalizers. They're going to take the high ground kind of parallel to that first little street there. Payload remaining uncontested right now. Whisk Queen, though, up on this roof, pumping in a lot of damage to Danny. Is going to get the healing they need. No picks on either side so far. The lead arrow, there it is, finds the pick onto D-Man. And that will allow these tanks to get aggressive, not having to worry about as much spam. Whisk Queen, though, very close to being down. He's going to have to go to the back line to find a health pack and a nice hook from Living Truth. Not enough follow-up there. Lead arrow still incredibly healthy. Both of the tanks on Valhalla actually were low for a second. Look at this, though. Not PowerPoint up on the high ground. Tantalizers, they're going to maybe need to figure that out. D-Man Bill's also on the flank here, but there's a lead arrow with a pretty solid shatter. Parsnip Pixie is down, however. Cypher will get that res. And with Whisk Queen up on the high ground here, it looks like Tantalizers, they might be able to stabilize, especially with this fight in the back line. Not PowerPoint, might not be able to survive for too much longer. Actually does get away.
Yeah, good, I guess. I don't know, this fight's going back and forth either way. A lot of ults being used on both sides. As you do see Saab committing that Rabidic in the tire here, maybe?
Ooh,
Maybe a little
boy.
bit of overkill.
5 ults there on the side of Tantalizers. I mean, there's no other way to put it. That, I think, in any circumstance, except for maybe back in GOAT's days, that is kind of an overcommitment. So we'll have to see. Now multiple ults coming online for the side of Valhalla, both tank ults as well as that amplification matrix tire. Pretty much all 6 are coming online, and they're gonna pop 3 right away. They're gonna combo amp matrix, supercharger, and the whole hog. Immediately takes down Elite Arrow, and Valhalla will be able to start pushing it here through point A.
Yeah, good counter investment there by Valhalla. They saw Tantalizers use 5 at them at the door, and they just fought back with 3 there. 3 really well used ults right there, especially the whole hog and bongo combo there really just eliminated the front line of Tantalizers.
Mama Bear trying to pour some salt in the wound with that coalescence, able to find a couple. Whisk Queen did find 1, and here comes Not PowerPoint from the high ground, finding Whisk Queen with the tac visor. and it looks like it's going to be way too good for Valhalla, although so Danum back on that Wrecking Ball, trying to stall for as long as he can. Elite Arrow has the Shatter, is going to use it. It's a nice Shatter, but will the follow-up be there? I'm not 100% sure. Mutant Cypher gets hooked out of the res, and it looks like it's only a matter of time before the rest of Valhalla go aggressive on the backline members of Tantalizers and take point A. Wish Queen, though, not going to find anything with the tire. Immortality Field out from Techno Bunny. Danny is actually incredibly low. You're gonna have to keep him alive. D-Man also gonna invest the tire, does find 2, and that will be it. Point A captured for Valhalla, but only 3 minutes left. That is not the most amount of time, you know, especially if we see a similar situation to what happened with the Tantalizers on their attack.
Yeah, and they do have a good, in a sense, stall ult there with that Torbjorn ult. Can buy them a lot of time if things start to go south. And they really don't have many ults up on the side of Valhalla here with just the window and just the bongo here. So they can get aggressive with them, but they're definitely ults that you just basically hide behind a wall and it does nothing. So, still manageable here for Tantalizers.
D-Man Bill was up on the high ground. Now he's going to try and flank and take out those tanks, but does get taken down himself, and Wish Queen with an immediate double kill. Danny able to find one. Mutant Cypher going to pop the res, or the Valkyrie and the res there. And it does look like Tantalizers will be able to stabilize as the payload is right around the chapel.
Yeah, good stabilization right there with them. We're able to hold on to both tank ults. Really only use that Valk to do anything right there. So, still a good ult economy for them to hold this point here as you have switches to like Lucio on the side of Valhalla. So resetting ult charge right there and really very low ult besides power points and Mama Bears here for Valhalla.
They do have the speed though, and Danny Yuki trying to get aggressive onto Elite Arrow, but Wish Queen from the backline, able to take out 2. That might be another team fight here for Tantalizers. And yeah, Valhalla, they're going to continue to back up. So Danon actually going to commit the Gravitic Flux to try and find the stragglers, and in fact, actually gets both of the tanks, so you could consider that an overcommitment, but it did get value.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I think you're just trying to force as many staggers as you can to limit the fights here. The Tant task for the regroup, so I'm not necessarily against the Gravitic ult right there because it did get some value. And it does make it sort of like a one-fight territory here. Actually, it makes it absolutely a one-fight territory here for Valhalla.
Here we go, D-Man Bill's throwing in the tire. How many will it find? It'll only find 1. Molten Core getting a lot of the members of Valhalla separated, in fact finds Danny. And we do see Live in Truth able to get the hook onto Elite Arrow to take him out of the Shatter. Team fight still relatively up for grab. Parson Pixie had the Coalescence to keep the team alive for a little bit longer. Elite Arrow in a precarious spot, but did enough damage. Live in Truth is down, only 15 more seconds. And with Wish Queen using the tire and a nice bunch of kills there from Sov Danum, I think this is all she wrote. And Tantalizers able to get 1 map off of this game. And Techno Bunny not even able to touch. That will be it. So, while Tantalizers did win the battle there, ultimately Valhalla won the war. They take this match 3-1.
Play of the game.
Yeah, good for Tants there to get out of there with a win. Something to hang their hat on here going into the next couple tough weeks and be for them to try to make this playoff push. Still a very good game though from both sides. You do see the play of the game right there with D-Man getting a 4-man on that tire.
I'd like to shout out Sidomia for giving us a update for all of you still itching for some more Tier 3 Overwatch Oasis action. On the second channel, we have C9 versus White Walkers. Currently, C9 actually up 2-0 in that series. White Walkers, the only undefeated team left. That would be a massive victory for C9.
It would be. Definitely another game that has a lot of implications here for playoffs for Tier 3.
So, let's get into this MVP discussion, and I think the obvious one is Danny for tank, but I think the other ones are a little bit trickier. I think one of the people I'd like to shout out is actually D-Man Bills for the DPS MVP. I actually thought he was playing really well, probably outplaying Weiss Queen there on that Junkrat, kind of finding some more value with the tires. I enjoyed watching them play. I'm glad to see D-Man Bills back. Kind of was taking a break there for the first half of the season, now is back and exciting to watch. But what do you think?
See, I messed up. I said Danny had the runaway, and more and more I was thinking about it. It's not that Danny didn't perform outstanding on tank. I do think Danny was a madman on tank, but for the side of Valhalla, I'm absolutely itching to give MVP support to AtCat. I think AtCat played phenomenal Lucio, and their Brig was the main reason I think they won first map Nepal. And then for DPS, I'm torn between D-Man and I think Ravioli Stain for Valhalla. Both, I mean, I could give it to either one of them, but I do think Ravioli played very, very well and very flexible against everything that was getting thrown at them. Their Pharah was insane on Nepal. The Echo ult on Hanamura, I think, was the main reason Valhalla got that first point with the IQ to switch to Symmetra and put them on high ground. And
So
then
then, for tank, are you maybe thinking Elite Arrow? Because he actually played really well there on Rhine on that last map. And we know that they were actually playing pretty well. They came in on Hanamura, and Tantalizers were looking good there. Obviously, for that map was kind of unfortunate as Zanny Boy DC'd. So I definitely I can agree with you. I definitely think AtCat deserves that support MVP, and it is definitely a toss up between Ravioli Stain and D-Man. They played well. Also got a shout out Prophetic One playing really well in those first two maps. But yeah, I think the way you explained Ravioli Stain, they really did come up with definitely some of the biggest plays in this series. That switch onto the sim was very pivotal into them not getting full held there on Hanamura.
yeah, and then tank, I agree, it could be elite. I also, even if we go with elite, I want to give a shout out to Saab for their first, I believe this is their first game with Tantalizers. Played very, very well. I really enjoyed their Sigma on Nepal and then on that last map as well. But Elite did play a very good Reinhardt and then played a very good uh, Zarya, all things considered, on Eichenwald. Unfortunately, couldn't do a lot for them because it was a 5v6, but played a very good, very smart Zarya for all things considered for that point.
I would like to give a couple more shout outs. I'd love to give Sakura Sauce the MVP based on one map, but it was only one map on the tank, so it's kind of hard to justify, putting them over Elite Arrow or even the tanks of Valhalla, although they did play very well. And I would also like to shout out Mugen Cypher getting a lot of very clutch res, staying alive in a lot of those team fights, just getting a lot of value out of that Mercy. So, but I think if you're good with it, I'm thinking Ravioli Stain DPS, Elite Arrow tank, and AtCat support. Would you agree?
Oh, sorry, I was muted. My bad. No, absolutely, I agree 100% with those right there. Yeah, absolutely. I think those are three very, although a lot of people did play very good throughout this game, I think those three are three of the big ones that stood out.
Okay then, so we will call it here. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure to go over to the second channel and watch the conclusion of C9 versus White Walkers, see if White Walkers can get that reverse sweep here. Definitely the first time that they've been down like this in a series, so we'll have to see. But anyway, thank you for watching. Mr. Gaming Kirby, Toaster, and we are signing out.
Have a good one, guys.